Prices continue to soar. So, what do we do if we can't make more money? Sometimes making more money is the answer, but for some of us, trying to make more money is more difficult. So, let's talk about that today. Welcome, everyone. I'm Bonita from Pennies to Dollars, and I retired at the end of October at 57. But the main reason that I figured out a way to do that was because I was having health issues that were making it very difficult for me to work every single day, 8 hours a day. And I have another channel where I go into depth more about some of my health issues that I can link in the description box below. But today we're going to talk about what if you just can't make more money? What if you're on a fixed income? What if you're like me and you had to figure out a way to retire early and to retire frugally because you just couldn't physically do it? And I'm going to share with you some of the ways that I make my money stretch so that I can do the things that I want to do and I can continue to stay at home, not working because of the issues that I have. So today we're going to talk about that. And I know some people pay themselves first. All through life, that is a thing that they do. They get their check, they pay themselves first, and then they have discretionary spending after their bills. But for me, when I saw that I needed to retire early and that I needed to stop working, I did it differently. I paid my bills first, always. And then what was left, I stuck in a savings account. And I continued to do that to try to build up a fund that I could rely on if I needed it. Now, I do have savings, but I also try to live on what I bring in every single month because I know that savings has to last me the rest of my life. And so I try not to touch that savings. So that leaves me living on like $800 to $1,000 a month, trying to make that stretch. And a couple of the things that I did this year is I took some little gig jobs. I took a gig job working for the election board and doing that in August. I'm going to do that again in November. That was very difficult for me. I ended up being the supervisor. I ended up having to carry a 35-pound bag from the second floor to my car. They didn't have a cart, and I had to carry that into the polling center. Then I had to reload it at the end of the day and take it back and get it back to the second floor. It caused a lot of back problems, but I'm going to continue to try to stick it out, even though I had trouble walking for the next 3 days. Then I took a gig job at the state fair. That was incredibly fun. I was the ticket taker, and I did that for 10 days. I just finished that job, but just sitting for all of those hours is very difficult for me. And sitting and standing and trying to just move around a little bit during the breaks that we had, I still had tremendous pain in one of my legs that is numb from the knee down. And I had tremendous swelling, and I'm still dealing with that now. So I'm going to try to stick it out and do those two fun jobs, but I do them even with difficulty. And there are only a couple of jobs that I'm taking on each year because I do know my limits. So because of that, I prepped to try to make the most money that I possibly could in that state fair job by working double shifts, even though I was sitting all of the time, and by packing my own food. So I'm going to show you next the shopping haul that I did in preparation for that gig job at the state fair. Aldi has some really good look-alike deals that I like to snag up. I'm preparing to work at the state fair. You're seeing this video after the state fair because I was prepping ahead so I would have my videos ready. But I like their turkey breast. This is only $3.09 and it tastes just like the name brand from Aldi. I also like their caramel corn cakes. I got some of these to eat while I was at the fair because I don't want to be eating at the booths every single day. Not only would that be expensive, but I don't think my stomach could handle fair food for 10 days for double shifts. And this is $1 less a package than the kind that's the smaller ones that are a little sweeter. They also have those. Sometimes I switch back and forth. They're both way cheaper than the name brand. I also snagged this milk, half gallon, for 89 cents. The date still is good. This is only the 3rd. And with it being skim, fat-free milk, it will last long beyond the date on the package and work perfectly in my iced coffees. I also picked up some jelly to make peanut butter and jelly. And it is also cheaper than the name brand, but looks the same, tastes good. And I got a couple of these for a treat, only 59 cents for some grapefruit drinks with a little bit of fizz. And these are really good, also mixed with tonic water to make them go a little farther. I also like getting my Nescafe to make my iced coffee at Aldi. It's $3 less than our grocery stores. And I snagged these purple plums that were perfect to eat at Dillon's for only 50 cents a pound for fresh plums. It took $7.50 off of this bag of plums. That's what the normal price is $7.50 more. I paid only $1.50 for these. And I like getting avocados and peaches and plums when they're ready to eat. So often you'll go to the store and they're really hard, and sometimes they just never ever ripen so that you can eat them. So I like to make sure they're ready to eat when I buy them. I also picked up some Progresso chicken and rice soup and wild rice soup at Dillon's for $1.49 a can. I like to have some of these as backup when my husband gets glutened by accident and gets really sick. He can tolerate these when he has gotten gluten by mistake. And these are normally $3 or more per can now. I also picked up this torn package of Charmin Essentials Mega, 6 rolls marked down to $4.33. And I know from having a grocery store that many times when you open the cases, you'll either catch them with your box knife or you will catch this in the packing tape that's already on the box and it rips them, and then nobody wants to buy them. So I wasn't scared of this at all. $4.33 with a 50-cent rebate on Ibotta. I picked up some Tresemme for $2 off, and I got that with an Ibotta rebate. And then when I walked in, the people at the hair salon handed me this free conditioner. So I lucked out and got a free conditioner that day. I also picked up a couple of these marked down French breads for 69 cents. I'm going to cut them up and use them to make sandwiches with my turkey at the fair for my lunches and supper. And then look at these great back to school supplies marked down. These were a quarter, and each of these really nice notebooks were 50 cents. So I prepped all of that the night before, and I tried to make it as easy as possible since I was working double shifts to come home, unpack my lunchbox, and then in the next morning throw things together that had already been prepped. Some of the things that I had ready to go is I hard boiled a dozen eggs, and I caught them on sale at $2.99 before the state fair. Now eggs have gone up to almost $4 a dozen here in Kansas. I'm not sure what's going on with that. I was shopping yesterday and I asked this lady who was just staring glassy eyed at the eggs like I was, what happened to the egg prices? And she said, I have no idea, but a gallon of orange juice is $8. She said, I thought about taking pictures and I thought, who would I show? Everybody already knows this, but it's incredible. So I prepped the hard boiled eggs. I prepped some celery with peanut butter, and I also prepped the things that I needed to take with me, like yogurt, I had string cheese, I had turkey, I had peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, I had the plums that I showed you, I had potato salad that I broke up in small little containers, I had some granola bars that I had bought on sale, and I had bananas. And all of those things I prepped and had them ready to go. I had a list of them. I had them so I could just pick a few every day and alternate so I wouldn't get tired of having the same foods because I was prepping both lunch and supper since I was working double shifts. Then I had to wear the same shirt that they gave me every single day. If you go back every year, they give you a second shirt, but for this year, I only had the first shirt. And so I had to wear it every single day. Now, you don't get real hot and sweaty, so I did wash it about every third day, and I would put it in the washer, and then I would get up and hang it up on a hanger. And then if I got up in the morning and it was still wet, I would turn on the fan, stick it in front of the fan, and have it dried by the time I prepped my food, got my makeup on, got my hair fixed, and got dressed. And so that's what I did to wear that same shirt for 10 days. Now, if you haven't watched, there is a challenge right now on YouTube, and Dia's Frugal Life is doing this challenge where you wear the same dress for 100 days. I wore this shirt for 10 days, and quite honestly, I was really tired of this shirt by the time that the fair was over and I was ready to put on something else. So, good luck, Dia, to that 100-day challenge. I hope that you do not get tired of what you're wearing because I absolutely did. When I got home, of course, I was tired, my leg hurt, I needed to recuperate. And I thought I need to make something easy that I can prep that we can eat for a few meals before I have to cook again because I have to get off this leg. So this is what I do is I prep a meal for a few days, then we eat it, then I prep again, then we eat it. If we get tired in the middle, I might make something else and we'll alternate that, but we always use up all of our leftovers. Now, this is one of my favorite family recipes. It is in my second cookbook, 50 More Frugal Recipes When Cooking on a Budget. I also have an original recipe book, 50 Frugal Recipes When Cooking on a Budget. They both have Depression era recipes in there and family favorites that I cook from all the time. So I'm going to share this recipe with you, and I hope that you enjoy it and maybe can see how I do this on a budget to make my dollars stretch. Cooking on a budget can be challenging, so I always look how to stretch my dollar the best bang for my buck. So I caught this chicken breast on sale for $1.99 a pound. Now there's 5 pounds here, and I am going to use 4 pounds of it, which is 4 breasts. And I'm going to freeze the other breast for future use. And I'm going to cut these 4 breasts into bite-sized pieces and put them in the crock pot.
This recipe is so super easy. I'm going to use 2/3 of a cup of liquid aminos. We are a gluten-free family. This is a substitute for soy sauce. You can use soy sauce if that's something that you have and you can tolerate the wheat in that. And then I'm going to use 1 cup of brown sugar. I have dark brown sugar on hand, so that's what I'm going to use. You can use light brown sugar if that's what you have. It will not make a difference. And then I'm going to use 2 cups of pineapple juice, and I'm going to mix that sauce together and pour it over my cut up chicken. Now, pineapple juice isn't something that we use very often, so I buy it specifically for this recipe, and then when I don't use all of it, I just throw this bottle right in the freezer, and then when I want to make this recipe again, I just pull it out and thaw. If this looks like it's too much for your family, you can always cut this recipe in half. But what I do is I cook it and then we eat it for a few meals and we put it over rice. And then when this is gone, I make something else. It's just one of the ways that I save myself a lot of energy and work by bulk cooking. Now I added the sauce. We're going to let this cook for 4 to 5 hours on high. I hope you enjoy this family favorite.
I can definitely see how people are struggling, and people have been changing how they shop for a while now. And I've done some videos on that. But yesterday, when I was in Aldi, I noticed that I heard parents say to their kids no more than I have ever heard in a grocery store in my entire life. Usually, parents will cave, a lot of parents will cave and get their kids things that they ask for. But yesterday, people were saying, no, 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 Anthony, no. Or you can get one thing. No, you can't get two things. If you get something, you need to put the other thing back. Those are things that I have never really heard. And I heard it the entire time I was shopping yesterday at Aldi's, which means things are tougher than they have been when you're hearing these sorts of things when you shop. I'm going to show you the shopping haul that I brought home yesterday and some of the great deals that I purchased to include again how I make that $800 to $1,000 a month stretch.
While the chicken was cooking, I went ahead and ran to the grocery store and got some things at Aldi. I'm already thinking ahead to the holidays. I was able to pick up 3 of these honey dry roasted peanuts, 1 pound each for $1.99 at Dillon's. I thought a dish of those on the dessert snack table would be really, really nice, easy, and something that I could just throw together when I have a bunch of people here for them to nibble on. I also grabbed some dark melting wafers. I have a recipe I'm going to try this holiday season that I'm going to share with you using these. Got them at Aldi for $2.99. I picked up some more pepperoni at Aldi for $2.69. This is the lowest price that I have seen anywhere. Pepperoni has gotten really expensive. I picked up another container of honey at Aldi's for $3.79. I picked up a package of sugar at Aldi for $2.95. We were almost out of that. I found one of our favorite salad dressings at Aldi in an area that they just had some different things in there. I haven't been able to find this for a while. It's strawberry poppy seed. We love having this on fresh spinach with apples. I got some grapes at Dillon's for 99 cents. I picked up another thing of popcorn because we were getting low. This is 2 pounds, 13 ounces at Aldi for only $3.99. And then I was thinking, man, beef stew's going to be sounding good here before long. But roasts are so expensive, they're just out of the question. So are the expensive beef tips, and I looked around and they were so expensive, like $8.99 a pound. I'm like, no way. So I found this at Aldi. It's $6.79 a pound. It's only 0.79 of a pound, and I am going to cut this up and freeze it so I can make beef stew at least once this winter if prices don't go down. I also was able to get several packages of bacon at Dillon's for $3.99. They had these giant 2-pound packages on sale at Dillon's of cheese for $5.99. You cannot beat that. And I also got some raisin bread at Aldi. I had a coupon on my Ibotta and I couldn't find the brand anywhere, not at Walmart, not at Dillon's, and I thought it sounded good. And then I found it at Aldi for less than it would have cost me even with the coupon had I found it. So I got that. And they had these little personal watermelons on sale at Dillon's for $1.50. I don't like watermelon, but my husband will be excited to get this. These have been running $3.99.
Cooking and grocery shopping seem to be some of the areas that people are most interested in learning how to save money. And I think that is because it is one of the areas that we actually can control to a certain extent. So I wanted to share those with you today. I hope they were helpful, and I hope to see you in the next video.